Use acid to fix acid reflux, GERD, and other stomach and digestive problems. Sounds kind of crazy, I know, but if you follow along in my book, 50 Fix, you're going to go to part 3. And in part 3, it says the digestive tract. It's all listed there for you, what I'm about to explain to you right now. So most people logically conclude that if I have acid reflux and burning and so forth coming up into my esophagus, especially when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, then I must have too much acid in my stomach. I will take an antacid. That'll take care of the problem solved. Well, the antacid does take away your symptoms, and so that's why people get trapped and they get stuck taking not only antacids but strong proton pump inhibitors and other medicines like omeprazole for a long time, decades even. And if you do any quick search on side effects of long-term use of acid blockers, you're going to be quite terrified at what you'll find. Horrible things like dementia and bone issues and on and on. So it's also not solving your problem. Yes, it's giving you temporary relief, but here's what's going on. When you have acid reflux, you actually have an under-functioning stomach. You have a stomach that's not producing enough acid, and therefore it has to work harder. A stomach that's not producing enough acid also means that the valves that are supposed to be closed, the valve between your esophagus and your stomach, is actually stuck open. So if you take away the acid by using an acid blocker, yes, you don't get splashing into your esophagus anymore. So you feel like the problem's solved, but when you do that, you're reducing acid. And what is the role of acid? The role of acid is to help you digest protein and absorb minerals. So if you're not digesting protein, a couple big issues happen. Number one, you have to digest protein to make amino acids. Amino acids are what you use to build your muscles, build all your enzymes in your body. They're the things that you use for your DNA, for your genetics. Amino acids make all the neurotransmitters in your brain, so that's really critical. And the second part, the minerals. If you're not breaking down your minerals, then you are leaving them in a bound state. So many people who end up with kidney stones, what they're dealing with is bound calcium. Bound calcium will circulate around in the blood. So if you did a blood test, it looks like you have sufficient quantities of calcium, but it's not free and usable. And there's two major problems with this. So many people are starting to take vitamin D now, which is good. But if you take vitamin D and you don't have free usable calcium to work alongside vitamin D, you can actually pull calcium out of your bones and teeth. And the bound calcium is the result of not having enough hydrochloric acid. The other thing that happens with the bound calcium is your body knows it can't use it. It's very low efficiency, and so it tries to excrete it through the kidneys, and you end up with kidney stones. So most people with kidney stones have bound calcium, which traces itself back to low hydrochloric acid. So the solution then is not to reduce acid, but to actually increase it. Use acid to fix acid-based problems. You can do this with a supplement sold in the health food stores called betaine HCl, hydrochloric acid. A lot of people use apple cider vinegar. You probably know plenty of people that have used apple cider vinegar and have claimed that taking apple cider vinegar has fixed their headaches or their muscle cramps or some other digestive problem, and on and on. And it probably has. And the main reason why is because apple cider vinegar is an acidifier. It helps to acidify the stomach. Well, taking betaine HCl is a much stronger acidifier, so it'll ensure you break down your proteins and absorb your minerals. So the next question would be, how often do you take it? How do you take it? Well, here's the tricky part. For a lot of people, just taking hydrochloric acid, one pill at meals, will do the trick. They'll be just fine. Other people are very sensitive in their digestive system. They've had gut, stomach issues for a long time. So some other healing agents might be required first. If they take those healing agents for a week or two, then they can start adding the hydrochloric acid in. There's also another phenomenon that takes place. Sometimes one hydrochloric acid pill is not enough. Sometimes it's like if you're making a fire in your fireplace and there's no oxygen getting in there, you're just making a lot of smoke. If you get enough oxygen, all of a sudden the flames show up. Same thing for the stomach. If you put one hydrochloric acid pill, you might just be making smoke. You actually might need 2 hydrochloric acid pills. So I often have patients experiment. Try taking one. If you take one and you start to feel a slight burning sensation, you got 2 options. You can take a second one. If the burning gets worse, then you do the baking soda trick. You take this much baking soda in this much water and you sip on it until that sensation abates. And then you know that you probably need to do some healing with your stomach before you try to increase your hydrochloric acid. But for many people, when they take that second hydrochloric acid pill, the burning goes away. I've had some brave patients do this, and I learned this from them because they would have something like spaghetti sauce, pizza, whatever at nighttime, and that's one of those provocative inflammatory foods. And when they experienced the acid and the burning, they took 2 acid pills on top of it, and it solved their problem. So you can try that trick as well. But I want to also state that hydrochloric acid is one of the most commonly used supplements in my practice. Super safe. You can use it as needed. You can use it if you overindulge on some food you shouldn't have had, or you just ate too much. Take a hydrochloric acid pill. Help your stomach digest the food that you've just eaten. That will help support your digestive system overall. If you're breaking down your proteins and absorbing your minerals, you're doing extreme good for your body because it can take those nutrients, take them right up and use them for healing purposes and recovery purposes and so forth. So if you are one of those people who has a long-term irritated stomach, what are some of those supplements that you can take to help heal that lining to start with before you add in the hydrochloric acid? Well, I put a link below, so if you click on that, you'll see what we offer. We've got a special price for you. You can take a look at some of those products that we have. A lot of them include certain ingredients like L-glutamine, slippery elm, marshmallow root, and so forth. So I hope this short video was informative. I go over all the details again in part 3 of my book. I hope you enjoy the book, by the way. There's a whole lot of information just like what I've presented to you just now within the 50 Fix guidebook. I know you're going to find it extremely helpful for you and your family.